just finished work, and during my break I had a bit of my dinner that Katie had made, and today I thought, well, I want to do a drink review. I don't have work in the morning, I have it in the evening, but I don't have it in the morning, so I'm going to have a drink, and we're going to try a new drink that you've probably seen in the thumbnail. And in addition to that, I'm going to eat some of my dinner that's left. It's a little bit gross because it's only a bit of food, it's not a full meal, it just looks like half-eaten dinner, which is what it is. I've got a glass, I've got a side of Coke Zero that is in a nice coarse glass again. That's just a nice secondary drink. But in addition, just in case we get to them, there's no guarantee. I got some blue shed chips, which are tomato, like, what is it, olives and oregano flavour. Basically, it's meant to be like margarita pizza. So we've got some of those that we can potentially include. But the star of the show today is this drink, Falcon Punch. This is the one I was talking about a while back that I'd also bought in the last video. It's by Brentwood Brewing Company. I guess that kind of lets you know a little bit where I am. But do with that information as you will. Don't come try and find me, please. Anyway, it's a really interesting glass. It looks to be locally brewed. It's got like this. Well, the can is obviously black, which is pretty cool, but the actual exterior is like this really rough sticker of some kind of superhero, it seems. And let's read the blurb on the back anyway. A tropical IPA with continual punches of passion fruit, mango and lychee. Now I love all of those flavours, so I'm looking forward to this. I really hope this won't be a letdown. I've got the mic in a different position today, you can probably see it. I don't know if this is going to be better or worse, we'll find out. But it's obscuring my view, so I'm trying to make sure you guys can see this. It's probably better to do it over here, right? There you go. Falcon Punch. So we're going to pour this out. I'm going to have a bite of my food, and then we're going to try the drink. So, let's get it open. Oh, it's fizzing. Oh my god, I can taste it already. That tastes great. Okay, it is giving a bit of head already. Okay, interesting. I shouldn't have said I liked it, because now I won't. Now for the best bit. Oh, I've nearly forgot. Okay. So this is an IPA, an Indian Pale Ale. It's pretty bright, vibrant, goldeny colour. It's got a good head. It's fairly lively. The interesting thing about this is it's pretty hazy. It almost looks like a hazy IPA, but it's not quite, I don't think. And yet I imagine it's got some similar flavours. So what we're going to do, I'll tell you what, we'll try it first. We'll get first impressions. Yeah, it's definitely not a hazy IPA. It's a bit too strong for that. It's got a really, really strong malt, but interestingly, I don't hate that. Usually I'm really funny about malty beers, because I find it just tastes a bit like gross, but I think the added flavours, the sweeter, more vibrant, colourful flavours of the passion fruit, and especially the lychee I can actually really taste. Those sweeter flavours mixed with it. That is a really interesting surprise. That is a malty beer that I wouldn't normally like, but there we go. So today we've got a half-eaten dinner. So this is made with a HelloFresh meal. So if you don't know, Katie and I use HelloFresh because it's just easier and more convenient. Because I work in the evening, so I can't cook dinner, and she comes back home fairly late and doesn't want to have to worry about what to make. So we do HelloFresh because it's just easier, and you don't have to worry about shopping when it comes to dinners and stuff. Just the other stuff, which is nice and easy. It's easier to think about, and usually we get it for 5 days a week, and usually we will order a takeaway these, and we'll try to make something simple or whatever on the last. But yeah, fun fact. So this is a HelloFresh meal. So everything is made effectively from scratch to an extent. Like for example, the potato or the chips or fries, whatever you call them, are made from potatoes that have been cut up by us, but they give them to us. The potatoes and all the ingredients, more or less, and then it's seasoned, so it gives you a proper recipe. It's got onion in there with green pepper, which is very nice. And this is a homemade chicken burger from HelloFresh as well. There you go, see if you can get a good gauge of that. Come on, in focus. That's close as good as you're going to get, I think. There you go. Yeah, it looks very nice. I've had it, I say it looks very nice. I've eaten most of it. Not really too sure what's actually in there, but it's breaded chicken breast, I think. Katie must have breaded it herself. Based on the recipe. And it's got some kind of burgery sauce on there. I'm not entirely sure what it is. Whatever it is, it tastes good. Ouch. So, does it pair well with the drink? Let's see. I'll be honest, not really. The flavours contrast a bit too much, I think, personally. It's a nice enough drink on its own, but I wouldn't want to eat it with this meal. I wouldn't even really want to eat a hazy with this meal. I'd probably be more of a, I don't know, a less malty lager or less malty ale. whilst I have dinner. I would just do this video on its own, but I'm so hungry. But I wasn't just started eating this, and now I'm not feeling as hungry, but I need to eat. But I won't finish it probably. Well, actually there's not much left, but I'll probably eat them later on. I'm not going to force feed myself if it's going to make me ill, you know, I've said that before. Even though it's not for a video, it's just for health. Alright, baby, if I'm on the floor, I'm going to have to find that afterwards. Oh, my mouth's getting dry. So because it was made a while ago, about 2 hours to be precise. It's been sat in the oven. The oven's not been on, but you know, it's just warm in there. So it's obviously dried out a little bit, unfortunately. But I did get to eat some of it earlier on, and it did taste like a very moist burger. Let's get that green pepper, some onions. One of these days, Katie and I will do a HelloFresh meal on here. We'll talk about it. HelloFresh should sponsor me because we rate it very highly. And what better way to like honestly, most of the people that watch this, I hear from the mukbang and for the eating. In fact, I reckon this video will get more views because I've put food in it, which is fine. It wasn't intentional. I'm just hungry. You know, I do worry sometimes that people worry that I do stuff for views. In the sense of like, oh, let me put food in this video to make it a more popular video, because it's just obvious that that's what will happen. All my most popular videos have eating in them. Like, my drink reviews don't really do massively well, except for the one of the first ones, which I did with pizza, and that got like, I don't even know, as of making this video, it's like 3,000 to 4,000, which is pretty impressive. But you know, the other ones don't clearly make that much, which is fine. I'm not bothered about that. But like, you know, it's obvious that that's what works. If you're off the mind of doing that, if I want to eat in a video, I'll eat in a video. If I don't, I don't. I like the fact that I don't have to worry about that. You know, if someone doesn't like a video, they just won't watch it. That's okay. You know, if I'm doing I don't know, like a solitaire video, and it's not gum chewing, it's like eating sweets. Some people like chewing gum, but they don't like the sound of eating certain foods like crisps, or like the, you know, the crunchy sounds. So if I'm eating like crisps with the solitaire video, they just probably won't watch that video, you know. When it comes to series, I try to be fairly consistent with it, you know. Oh my god, I'm doing it again, I'm doing that, you know. Anyway, when it comes to a series, I try to be consistent, because people that are watching it, you know, oh my god, I just did it again. I can't stop, I don't know what it is. I need to train myself out of saying it. I feel like I'm saying it a lot, not just in these videos. Back to what I was saying, that I know, oh my gosh, I've lost my train of thought, that I try to be consistent in the series, because people who are watching it may not want to watch it if it changes, if that makes sense. So, for example, doing a Minecraft video, let's do the Disco Elysium. So if I'm doing Disco Elysium, and then most of it is either gum chewing or notes bit or just whispering, but if I were to add in like doing crisps, on the surface that's fine, but if someone is watching it and, you know, consistently wanting to follow the gameplay, then if they don't like the crunching sounds, they're not going to want to watch that video, and therefore it's not about the views dropping, but it is about that person going like, oh man, that sucks, because I know that I would feel that way if I was watching a creator and they changed something up kind of drastic that interrupted the flow of watching the video, or kind of made it so I wouldn't enjoy it as much, such as that. Not that it would bother me, but the sounds that I want to listen to change, right? Like, not every night do I want to listen to crunching sounds. Some nights I want to do that. Sometimes I think, how could I possibly ever just listen to a whispering video? But then I'm happy to just listen to someone whisper, or even drinking. Like, the sounds of slurping just sometimes irritate me, and yeah, I watch someone like slipped into ASMR and I really like it, so it's weird. My point is ultimately that when you change stuff up like that, it's usually fine if there's not a consistent viewership required, whereas with a series that's like part 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, especially with things like gameplay, it makes it more difficult, and even more so if the gameplay itself is like a story game. So if it's a game like Disco Elysium, which is itself a plot, whereas Minecraft, you know, okay, that one was okay, I haven't said it in a while, so that's fine. Whereas with Minecraft, it's not that bad, right? You miss out on an episode, okay, you miss like half of a house being built. It's not that deep, but you could miss crucial plot elements in a game like Disco Elysium. So I guess I try to be consistent in that, but even then, sometimes I'll change it up. maybe I'll do whispering, maybe I'll do a come to, so I guess ultimately I do change it. Just try not to make it big difference. But things like solitaire, like, yes, it's a series of videos, but ultimately, if you want to skip one, if you want to skip a video, you're not missing out. In the sense, like, the next video I log, you're not going to go like, oh shit, I'm lost. What happened last time? I may refer to something like, oh, we lost 3 games all in a row, but ultimately it doesn't make a difference. That was a chair, by the way, not me. I want to make that very, very abundantly clear. Let me know in the comments how many of you use HelloFresh. This genuinely isn't a sponsored video. Obviously, if it was a sponsored video, I'd be going, and now from our sponsor, HelloFresh. I probably wouldn't do that. I like to be one of those people that would try to seamlessly enter it into the video, in the sense of making it interesting, I guess. I always love the critical role ads. I think they're a really creative way to add the ads in, because ultimately people watch them, you know. People don't skip over the ads in critical role, not at the beginning, because they're funny. And Sam Riegel is fantastic at that. So I guess, in that case, I would try to do something like that if I could, but I'm not that creative. There's not much I can really do with that, I suppose. But I think they're really good. If you haven't seen Critical Role, you should watch it. And if you do, you'll understand what I mean about the ads, because they really are like seamlessly brought in to the intro, and usually there's like a skin or a bit that they do, and if it's a consistent sponsor, there's like a continuing like joke. So they had NordVPN for a very long time, and so they made like the NordVPN universe, where it was a whole storyline about about Sam being a hacker and like using NordVPN, and it developed into this like storyline that became eventually The Matrix, and like it's just hilarious, and they do that all the time with all these different things, all these different sponsors, and it's very creative, and people make compilations of them, of the videos, right? People like watching the ads, and so if you're getting sponsored by Critical Role, if you have Sam do your ad, you are like, it is the best advertisement you could get, because people are going to actively watch them and upload clips of the ad, and it's basically infinite advertising. So yeah, very good, very good. But unfortunately, this is not sponsored by HelloFresh. But HelloFresh, if you're listening and want to, we'll accept that offer. I very much doubt they would care that much to give any kind of sponsorship to my channel with 600 and something subscribers, and or whatever it is at the time. I don't even know what it is right now. It's somewhere, I think it's in 600, and like a few hundred views on videos. I don't think they're looking towards me as to being a potential sponsor. But I'd like to know what you think of HelloFresh in the comments. Do you use it? I love it, to be honest. I think it tastes great. Like, the food is great. The idea is fantastic. There's food I never would have even imagined eating as their dinner, or even just like bothered making, I guess. But because of HelloFresh, we get to have it. We had a chicken tikka masala the other night. I don't really like chicken tikka masala unless it's at an actual, Asian restaurant. I don't like it. I just think it tastes bland. I just feel like it's just shit when you buy it anywhere else, unless it's made at an actual restaurant by people that know how to make the food. It usually sucks. And so when we got that, I was very, very apprehensive. The rice in HelloFresh, I find usually is quite bland, because it's just boiled rice. But I don't like boiled rice. I like, actual flavoured rice, pilau rice, or any other kind of rice that has something extra to it. So I think Katie tried to make it more like pilau rice, and seasoned it, so it actually was fairly nice. But ultimately, loved it. I just loved the meal. It was delicious, and I didn't expect to. But you can like improvise a bit with the food as well. Like, you don't have to worry if you don't like everything about it, and you can pick and choose what you want. I really do sound like an ad right now, but that's because it's a genuinely good product. To be honest, it's expensive. Like, it's expensive, but ultimately, if you're buying a food shop, you're probably going to be spending that anyway. And if you're not like needing a lot of other groceries, because really dinner is the one big one. If you had children, that's different. It's probably more expensive then. We used to do it for 4 people when we did a house share last year. We did a house share and we used HelloFresh, but we did it for 4 people for half a week, and that was expensive. I can't imagine doing it for kids for every week. Also, you'd have to think a lot more about lunches, honestly, because sometimes I'll just pop to the shop and get like a fucking meal deal, and that'll be fine by me. But yeah, with children you need to really think that out, don't you? Unless you're low income and can get like school meals and stuff, but because that depends on where you're from. But yeah, and school meals were the shit. Sometimes they were awful, but they were generally fairly good, I think. Maybe I'm looking back at that with like rose-tinted glasses. I do remember having a hearty pie, or like I think it was like a hearty something. Maybe it was like a cottage pie, but it was like big fat chunks of meat. I'm pretty sure the meat was hard, and I'll tell you why. Because I bit into it and there was a fucking artery in there. I'm not even joking you. Like thick, like big, thick, rubbery bit that went all the way through like a tube. I'm pretty sure it was chopped up hard, and I got a bit with an artery in it, like where it moves through one of the ventricles or something. Because I mean, unless it was just randomly another artery, or maybe it was some kind of cyst, I don't know, but ultimately it looked like a fucking artery, and ever since then can't eat big chunks of meat. It makes me ill to think about eating like beef that is in like cube form or anything like that. Oh man, I have such an awful relationship with meat. I say as I'm eating a chicken burger. The HelloFresh food is generally pretty high quality, but yeah, store-bought meat I really struggle with. And last year, the people that we were living with, one of them made enchiladas. I bit into it. It's not their fault. Like, ultimately, it wasn't their fault because like they just made the food. They couldn't have known what was in it. I bit. Sorry, I just thought about it. It's made me gag. Oh, it's awful to think about. I bit. Oh, I genuinely want to vom right now. Oh my god. Give me a second. Oh my god, I genuinely want to be sick. I'm sorry. Oh, I have a really bad gag reflex. I don't know if you've noticed or not. Sorry about that, folks. I might cut that out. I don't know if I remember to. Oh, okay. I'm good. Basically, I was eating the enchiladas. I took a mouthful and found something rock hard and sharp in my mouth. It cut my tongue. I immediately spat it out. I'm trying really hard right now. I spat it out, looked down, and there was a shard of bone there in the meat. Like a broken. I'd bitten into it and cracked it. And it separated into shards. Separated into shards, and I crunched into the bone, and it like stuck in my tongue, or it didn't stick in it, but it like cut tongue a little bit. And from that moment on, I will not, I absolutely refuse to eat thick chunks of meat. And like, I've done it a bit with HelloFresh, but like, if I see like a meal and it's got chunks of chicken in it, I immediately just go warm, like it's flashbacks. Don't want to do it. Ultimately, I would love to live a meat-free existence. I don't like the texture of it. I don't like the idea of it personally. Like, I'm not like, you know, I guess I'm not really an activist that goes out and like promotes a vegan or vegetarian lifestyle, but I do think like the practices of keeping meat is really inhumane, and honestly, if you're not kind of against it, I mean, just there's a difference between eating meat from a farm, that's different, but like if you eat meat from stores, a lot of them source them from really awful places where chickens are like dying because they're cramped up towards each other, they can't even breathe, their lungs collapse, and where animals can't even move left or right because they're in a sty the entire time that is cramped up to their body. And like the practices of industrialized meat and animal products is what really should be criminal. Like, if I kick a dog on the street, it's animal abuse, but if I'm doing it in an industrial complex, it's just meat production. It's super fucked up, man. And I think if you disagree with that, like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, that's kind of weird. If you like seeing animals in that state, whatever. But that's not me coming for eating meat. Like, ultimately, people are gonna eat what they want to eat. If you source it like from a place that isn't cruel to animals, I mean, you can make the argument that rearing animals for slaughter is cruel anyway, but I would much rather see an animal, like, a starting point is getting rid of industrialised meat, because not only is it gross in the manner in which they treat animals, but also like the meat that comes from it tends to be really disgusting as well. And there have been studies that show now that that they are prone to creating like mutations where you can be ingesting cancerous meat, including cysts. Like, people are now finding like chunks, like legs of meat with like big rotting parts in them because a cyst has formed because of the state that they're kept in. So ultimately, everyone wins by getting rid of industrial meat and just going back to like properly sourced free-range farm animals, which, you know, if you're getting your meat and product from there, that's cool, man. And I can't look. Ultimately, it's not really feasible to do that long term, right? Because a lot of people need to buy cheap meat because of the cost of living, and that's fair. I'm not here to like shit on you if that's the only way you can get meat, but I would suggest, my encouragement would be, if that's the case, ultimately try your best to like just get rid of meat. And that's not because of any moral standpoint, but also because like you're generally going to find it's probably going to end up cheaper substituting meat for other vegetables or like beans or other sources of protein. Honestly, it can be cheaper and taste better in my opinion. But that's just from little old me. I'm not here to tell you how to live your life, but that's my recommendation, because I don't like meat. And even before, I thought of it, like the moral point of it. I mean, I'd always been against like industrialised meat products, because, I mean, who isn't against animal cruelty? But like, I would never say I'd ever been like actively like go vegan, go vegetarian, and I'm not really, I would say. But at the same time, I think it's okay to try, and I'd encourage people to try not using meat where they can, because it's just better for you, to be honest. I mean, we don't require meat, we can get what we need from other sources, so might as well, if it's good for your health and that. Anyway, I've been rambling on for a long time here, so we never ever got round unfortunately. That's okay, we'll save them for another video. I brought them because I got a comment about doing when I did a Budweiser video eating some crisps. And yeah, I enjoyed eating them and drinking, so I might do that again. Obviously, if I have upset or offended anyone by my comments in this video today, that is not the intention. But, you know, I have my opinions on the matter. If it bothers you enough that you don't want to be subscribed to me anymore, hey look, that's your prerogative. Agree to disagree, but if you don't like that, that's fair. If you don't want to support me anymore because of it, that's fair enough. I don't think it's really that deep, but, you know, I thought I'd just say it anyway. Either way, let's talk about the drink again, because that's what this was meant to be, not a ramble, but a drink review, right? But they always end up this way. Okay. So, it's a pretty hazy, opaque drink. I saw it as an IPA, just expected it to be more clear. That's fine, doesn't really bother me. I don't think that's just a point of interest. I quite like it. I would drink that again. I wouldn't drink loads of them. I find that a lot with ale. They're not a session drink, in my opinion. Or at least some of these aren't. Not just because of like alcohol content. I don't really know what percentage this is, but mostly because they are quite heavy drinks, and so I couldn't imagine wanting to drink loads of them in a night. I wouldn't like use them to get drunk. 5.1%, so yeah, not a session drink. Just splashed a bit on me. Yeah, so I wouldn't drink that really at a night out unless it was like going to the pub and maybe having a couple. Might have one of these. But I do like the drink. It's got its place. Like if I'm only wanting one drink, I might have that. What else? I think the maltiness took me as a surprise. I expected it to be a little bit lighter, a little bit more bitter. I don't really know why that was the case. I just got that feeling, but it's not. It is quite malty, but it is not like overwhelmingly so. So as I've said, I don't really vibe with a lot of malty drinks, and we learned that malt and caramel with red ales and stuff, I don't like them. So when I tasted the malt in this, I was a little bit worried, but it's very, very, very subtle. Well, it's not very subtle, but it's not overwhelming. Like it's there, it stands out, but it's not overwhelming. And the flavours, like the more kind of like fruity flavours in there, seem to bond well with that malt, and so it brings out a sort of sweetness that balances out the kind of the dry or almost, I don't want to say bitterness, but I do find malt tends to kind of have a more kind of bready, bittery taste, but it balances it out, making it quite nice. Smells pretty good. You can smell the same thing really when it's very vibrant and lively at the start. It smelled more like lychee than I would say any other scent, but now I can smell the malt, but again it's got that sweetness from the fruit, and I think this is a good point to point out the difference between the other drinks. So this isn't like a caramel malt, this is a maltiness with a fruity sweetness, which is different to like a caramel malt, which is almost like a dark, almost smoky sweetness. This isn't like that, it's a light, fruity sweetness, which I like. I don't like the caramel. I don't know, I don't like the kind of smokiness of it, personally. So that's a good point of note. What else about it? Let's try and gauge. Okay, I've got a point about the can. For the drink itself, overall, very, very nice. Especially for an IPA, which usually I'm very on the fence about. presentation of this. It stands out. That's about it. I really don't know how to describe this, or how to say this, but I don't think the labelling's good at all. First of all, I mean, it's got superhero on it. That's cool. It has nothing to do with the drink. There's nothing on this labelling that tells me anything about the drink, what to expect. It doesn't fit the vibe of the drink. When you look at this, you see a phoenix like in the background as like a hero doing a Falcon punch, apparently. I get the feeling like this gives me the idea that it's going to be fiery, bold, strong and attacking. It's not like that. It's really smooth and subtle. Like it's a nice kind of I don't want to say cautious, but comforting drink. This does not represent the drink. I don't know. I don't like the font. Looks like fucking like what we use Comic Sans, Brentwood company. It all just feels like really basic. I think I like the idea behind it, but if I were to put this in front of you, you would probably think this is an energy drink, and maybe that's the vibe they're going for. But it's not like an energy drink. If this was more vibrant, if it had more of a sweet or a pop in there, stronger flavour, then I would say okay, it fits that because it's kind of bursting out, kind of like the drink, kind of like the labelling, and therefore it's like an alcoholic energy drink without the energy. It's like trying to fit into that category, but it's not like that at all. It's, I don't know, maybe you'll disagree with me on this, but do you really think what I've described about this drink, this label reflects it? It's just very strange. I don't really get it. I don't get why. But there we go. That is the Falcon Punch by Brentwood Brewing Company. So I'm not going to include the labelling in terms of like my ranking of the drink, because ultimately that's just a presentation thing for the drink itself, and I don't think it's fair to judge the flavour of whether I would drink it or not based on that. But on the other hand, if I were to go for a party and I were to bring that drink, I think people would be very interested. So part of me is a little bit like, I want to use that drink, bring that drink to a party, so I can be like, this is the beer that I'm bringing. I want to see if I can see anything about it, see if we can learn anything. Okay, we've got pint please, that's what I used last time, pint please. So pint please is a website that I think people just like talk about drinks and I post them on there. Oh wow, there's a place that has it on draft. That's pretty cool. Yeah, some people say it's moreish. That's true, I think so. Yeah, the people have them on draft. I don't know if I'd want it on draft though. I don't know, maybe they would be nice. I don't get this, like someone said appears to be smooth and easy, but watch the punch. Is that why they call it Falcon Punch? Maybe if I think about it too much, I can put 1, 2 and 2 together, but I don't agree. I think it... Okay, let me check another set. Let's see if I can conceptualise what they're saying. So the only way I could describe someone, or justify someone saying that, is that when you immediately take a sip, it is smooth. When you then swallow, the aftertaste fills your mouth with a stronger flavour. which maybe I guess justifies it a little bit. But any concept you could say, like you could put, as long as you put the idea in someone's mind, then after that point, that's when it seems like it's correct. So I think that's probably what's going on here, if I'm completely honest. But ultimately, the branding is what it is. I don't think it's great, but that's my personal opinion. As for the drink, I would put this in the middle to the low of A. The reason being is there are a number of other drinks I think I've put up in that category. Who knows, because I still haven't done the tier list. There's a number of drinks I've put in that category, but I would say that that it is better than a lot of the other IPAs I've had. I'd rather have that than a lot of the other ones. And I think it's below the, it's obviously below Hazy. Hazy's an S tier for me. I really, really like Hazy Jane. But they're two very different ales. But I don't think it beats some of the lagers that I've had. I think I probably need to go back and like rewatch or readjust some of those ratings. I want to do the tier list. I am determined to do it. So at some point it will happen. But we'll get it done at some point. Anyway, there we go. So that's the drink. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, I'd really, 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 really appreciate a like. And if you're not subscribed and you enjoyed the video and you're watching to this point, you should subscribe, because ultimately we do this every day. Not this specific type of video, but a kind of video. And if you enjoyed it, you probably will enjoy the others. So you should definitely check it out. Come by, check it out, check it out, check it out, check it out, check it out. And I will see you in whatever video comes next. Or before that, go and check out the videos appearing on the side of the screen.